I hear you're a very basic human being, and I really just wanted to run some tests to make sure that understanding where you kind of place in the spectrum of human beings and their levels of basicness or oddness seeming really, I just want to see if it's correct with the information that I've been given. So I have a couple questions I ask you, and I'm going to show you a couple things. And all I really need is for you to answer those questions truthfully, and we will be on our merry way. So, first, I have 2 pens. They are quite literally the exact same type of pen, okay? only difference going on here is one of them is a dark blue and one of them is a medium lighter blue. This one's so dark it almost looks like it would be black. As you can tell, kind of by the rubber, it looks black. I don't know if this one has even been used yet. That is the difference between them on my hand. And all I want you to tell me is which one you prefer. It's that simple. This one? And can you confirm why you prefer this one in particular? Okay, because it's closest to black. That's what I thought you would say. So, here we go. I'm going to put those down. I'm now going to show you something else. These are 2 shapes, as you can see. This is a square, which is a pretty basic shape. If you ask most people, they'll know what a square is. This is a circle. Again, if you ask most people, they'll know what a circle is. Okay? If you were gonna pick a shape, which shape would you pick between a circle and a square? This one gets a little complicated. It depends on how you answer my second question primarily. Which one would you pick, though? The circle? Okay. See, this one's complicated. Because this is one of the few questions that I've noticed it seems like it's split down the middle. And I find that odd. But why are you picking the circle? Do you have a reason why you're picking the circle? It is, well, in my opinion, it is considered a more naturally occurring shape as opposed to something like a square, if that makes sense. If you were to think of a pebble, it's a circle. If you were to think of cutting open or cutting down a tree in the trunk, the shape of the trunk is a circle. So, I can see what you mean by that. I have another paper-based question. This one is going to be, what do you prefer, the numbers or the letters? We have a set of numbers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have a set of letters. A, B, C, D, and E. is the question, or letters in regards to what you prefer. Numbers. That tends to be the preference, and again, you can really interpret these questions quite interestingly, in my opinion. I have an example that kind of throws people off because of what it is. These are two seashells. And can you see the difference between them? The stripes. Yeah, the patterning on the shell on this one goes down, as you can tell. And then the patterning on the shell on this one goes across, as you can tell. And if you were going to pick one, I want to know which one you're more drawn to. This one? Okay. I've noticed that most people will say this one. And the reasoning is that the stripes on this one are more unison than the stripes on this one. As you can see how it's kind of, it's almost layered looking. Just very consistent, I would say. Okay, this question, it might throw you off. Any of these colors at all. Are you drawn to any of these colors? Any of them. Any of them. Doesn't matter which one. They are different shapes as well, as I can tell that you can tell. That they are different shapes. They do bend as well. But are you drawn to any of these colors at all? No. Okay. That's exactly what I thought you would say. So, if you want to say that you're answering correctly, then you're pretty much answering correctly. You might have some outliers, but that's kind of normal. That's kind of normal. Going off color though, I have these little color tabs, and I want you to tell me basically what color to you feels more basic and feels more your style, because I know these ones right here you don't care for, correct? Am I correct? You can tell me I'm wrong. You can tell me I'm wrong. Okay, that's what I thought. Can you tell me which one of these colors you prefer and you feel more comfortable with? I'll let you kind of look at them, different angles of them. They're not too far apart from each other, and that's what's interesting about it. Do you know which one you prefer? This one? Does this one feel more calming to you? That's primarily my question at this point. Is this color simply more calming to you than this color? Even though this color, you could argue, is more of a natural looking color, whereas this color is more extreme, I guess you could say. This is more calming. Okay. Interesting. It is interesting. I'm going to ask you a couple questions by the end of this and kind of just write down your response. I'm going to ask you another question in regards to picking one of these items. So this is an ink pen, as you can kind of tell. It's an ink pen. It has ink on it, like you know what it is. This is a pencil, and most people know what a pencil is as well. Would you be able to tell me, do you prefer one of these for any particular reason? Any particular reason? Any particular reason? They're pretty much the exact same length, I would say, as well. One thing I've observed is I've heard some people tell me that they prefer this because the color feels less harsh than the color on the pencil. What would you say? Pencil or ink pen? Pencil? Okay. And why would you say that, if you don't mind me asking? This is more familiar to you? Yeah, that's primarily been the reason that I've been seeing, is that this is more familiar to people. And, you know, the people that aren't so basic, they prefer things like the colorful pens, the colorful pencils. Like, if this pencil had a pattern on it, would you pick it still, do you think? No, okay. Yeah, that's kind of the level of basicness that we're studying, actually. I am going to make some notes. I'm actually going to make notes with the pen from earlier that you picked. If you don't mind me asking, between the color, see, this is difficult, between the color gray, or beige, what do you think you'd pick? A lot of people will ask you, what would you prefer, black or white? Like, say you could have a black or white phone, what would you prefer? A lot of people will ask that. I'm picking colors that are slightly less, you know, basic. Because a t-shirt, it's gonna come in black and white, you know what I mean? But what would you prefer? Beige or gray? Gray? Okay. And why would you say that exactly? Why do you feel more drawn to the gray versus the beige? You're right, it is an in-between. And that makes sense. It's an in-between color between something like black and white. That does make sense. Okay. And this is where it gets a little difficult, because people really truly have their personal preferences, I guess you could say, basically. If you went out and you could either wear a baseball cap or a beanie, what would you choose to wear? A baseball cap or a beanie? Baseball cap. Okay. Do you think that's fabricated in some type of normalism in the area? Like, I know where we live, there's a lot of baseball caps and not so many beanies. Do you think that affects what you consider basic because you don't want to be an outlier? Okay. I think, yeah. I mean, yeah. I can agree. And when you were in school, did you take any type of theater classes? I don't say this to be offensive by any means, but did you take any type of theater classes, or were you not so much into that genre of things? More on the, like, no theater, okay. And what was your favorite subject, if you don't mind me asking? Science. Me too, actually. You see, I'm more of a not basic person, but my favorite subject was science as well. So it's kind of cool. And here's the big one. If you were gonna pick an ice cream, chocolate or vanilla? This might as well be a trick question. It really might as well be. Like, vanilla. During this whole study, we've only had roughly 2% of the basic individuals, or the people that believe that they are basic individuals, choose chocolate, actually. It's quite an interesting thing, honestly. Yeah. Anyways, no, that should be everything I need from you. Thank you for participating in this study of basic people and basic human beings. It's very much so an educational type of thing that we're trying to move forward with, so we definitely appreciate it, and I hope you continue to do well with your basic life.